back to the Navigate Credit Union Broadcast Center. I'm Molly O'Brien. This is Amy Duskiewicz, who's Director of Operations at Providence Animal Rescue League, or better known as PARL to many. And this is Mufasa.
Yes.
What a big, beautiful man. Well, he's a man, right?
He is, yes, he is a boy. In need of a little bit of weight loss and some good grooming. It's hard when they're kind of chubby to reach back here. But otherwise, a lovely, sweet 11-year-old boy.
Mufasa, you're 11? You're just a young guy, aren't you? So we are big fans of pets here at Go Local. I was going to say at Parl, but of course you are. At Go Local. So we wanted to talk a little bit about how important pet identification is. So we wanted to talk to you a little bit about Parl, what you guys do, and then we'll go from there. So tell us a little bit about Mufasa and how he's up for adoption. So we'll start with Mufasa, that way in case he needs to jump off and run. And then we'll get to pet identification.
Yeah. So he is looking for a home right now. He's been with us for a while. He, being 11 years old, we put him through kind of the gamut of medical things. And we did find that he's in early kidney disease, but it's very early on, sort of typical for an 11-year-old cat. And so otherwise he's pretty good. A little bit of dental disease like everybody else who's in that senior phase of life, and needs some weight loss. But otherwise he's very relaxed. I mean, even just coming into here, hanging out in the green room, he made himself right at home. And so he easily acclimates to new environments. Just a really lovely, sweet old man. And we actually have a bunch of orange tabbies right now, which are like my favorite cat ever. They're the best. And so if he's not like the right fit, there's plenty of other different orange tabbies who are just wonderful, sweet boys.
Who doesn't love an orange tabby cat? How does he do with other pets?
Yeah, so I think I have to double check all of his other stuff. We probably think he'd be a little sensitive with dogs and things.
Okay.
But sometimes it depends on the right household, and if that other animal has lived with others. And so we kind of would counsel the folks on which would be the best match.
But okay with other cats?
Yeah,
Cats have a great cat socialization.
Yes, yeah. So we have a couple community cat rooms. We actually just had a new one that Adler's Hardware Store actually just redid all of our shelves and everything. It's awesome. Beautiful. And so we've been really trying to improve the housing for all of the cats there. And he's actually in one of our really great quad cages that has all sorts of shelves and access to different things.
You are, Mufasa. Let's get you a home. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the importance of pet identification, whether it's for your dog, for your cat, or for what other type of animal you have. Tell me, most people have collars. You might have microchips. Talk to us about the importance of pet identification.
Yeah, so at Parl, we end up seeing a lot of the stray cats for Providence, and that makes up actually the bulk of our animals coming through. And animal control takes in a lot of stray dogs as well each year. So animals are being picked up throughout our city and coming into the shelter instead of just being brought back to their owner immediately.
Yeah.
So that's where collars and tags are huge, because your neighbor doesn't have a microchip scanner.
Yeah.
And so they can easily kind of see that the animal belongs to somebody and can bring them back to their owner. Even especially with cats, especially if you have indoor-outdoor cats, a lot of people see them wandering, they assume it's a stray and that it needs to be saved. And a lot of times it's just a happy indoor-outdoor cat who is able to go home at night, but then if you pick it up and bring it to the shelter, it doesn't always make it back home. Most people don't end up looking for their cats, especially until like 3, 4, or 5 days after being lost, because they assume that they have just wandered around and found a perfect mousehold, hunting, and that they'll return. So definitely collars and tags are a great sort of first step to identification.
Okay.
But then microchips are sort of that great backup, because many of our animals are good at escaping from collars. Most stray dogs, it's been after...
Slip, yeah.
Yep, exactly, yeah. They break out of the collar, they get loose, or you just gave them a bath. And so you took that collar off.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think of that.
Yep, so that happens a lot. And so having a microchip is just a permanent form of identification. And what's really great is that so most shelters and veterinarians now have a scanner, and nowadays they're all universal. So it used to be...
They are universal.
Yep, okay. Yeah, which is great.
I have to update myself on that.
Well, that's what so many people had a concern about that before, because different companies had different radio frequencies, and so they didn't all read each other, and that would be a problem. And so now they're all universal, so wherever your pet ends up, no matter what company chip you have, it should still work. And so like Mufasa has a microchip, and so all that happens when the animal comes into the shelter is you just scan them, and it picks up the radio frequency.
You can just hold it up right
and then it tells you, is this...
Yeah, it'll show up eventually.
And then it tells you the microchip number and a number to call.
Awesome.
And so there's sort of a general number that you can call in and give them the chip number, and then they will connect you with the owner's information. And so that's where the information is actually held. So all that's stored on the chip is this identification number. and it's read through a radio frequency, and there's no batteries or anything like that.
Awesome.
So it always will work for the lifetime of the pet, which is really important when you're talking about permanent identification.
Does it matter like what company you do it through or anything like that anymore? Because
Right.
I just actually got an email saying Wiley's subscription needs to be you know?
Right. Yeah. So
You have to register your pet. That's another important thing.
Yeah,
right?
that is a huge second step. After you bring them in to get microchipped, like our animals, we register as part of the adoption. And if somebody gets microchipped through us, we register it for them as well to avoid any registration fees. That's not always true with every chip company or every organization. It really depends on sort of the package that they get with it. But that being said, I would recommend investigating the membership fees that are associated with it.
Okay.
Because for them to work, you don't always have to pay those. And so you can not have a membership and still have the chip work. If you need to update your information, sometimes you have to pay a fee to update the information afterwards, but you don't always need those memberships. And so I would recommend kind of looking and analyzing that. But otherwise, most of the programs are very similar. A lot of times when you get the membership fees, you get some added bonuses of they'll make flyers, they'll put out like a sort of pet Amber Alert to different organizations when your pet gets lost and Mufasa's hair is just flying everywhere.
Looks like my house. Wiley fur going everywhere. That's fine.
So yeah, I mean, it doesn't necessarily depend on the company you go with, but you can definitely look at it. But like I said, they're all universal now, so it's not such a big deal anymore.
That's great that they're all universal now. And where can you get microchipped?
Yeah, so of course
If I already have a pet at home.
Yes, so every veterinarian that I know of anyways definitely does microchips, but a lot of the shelters now we're able to do it for a slightly lower cost. We get discounted rates on the chips coming in and everything, and so we do offer low cost microchipping, and we do it by appointment any day that we're open. And we also do have chip clinics along with vaccination clinics as well. Or if you come and use our spay-neuter services, we can also do it at the time of spay-neuter, which a lot of people like to do because the needle is kind of large. When we microchip an animal, it's actually...
I'm just gonna let him go.
Yeah, he can go explore. Hi! He is a bit of a talker as well.
Don't open the door, Mufasa's coming out.
He's gonna say hi. So the needle is quite large. It's bigger than what you use for general vaccination. And so some animals, most of them honestly don't care. Most of them, it's not a big deal. It's going in the scruff of their neck. It's a very loose part of their skin, and they aren't very sensitive to it. But some of them are. And so it can be nice to get it done as part of a surgery where they're anesthetized already, so they don't feel it and they don't notice. So we do try to recommend people, if they're going to get their pet spayed and neutered, to do it at the time of spay-neuter.
Okay.
And that way they can do it then, which also they can come get low-cost spay-neuter at Parle and get microchipping as well.
Well, and that's the thing too. You have a low-cost spay-neuter clinic that you're offering, which is great because a lot of people, they think, I don't have the money to get my animal spay or neutered because it can be very expensive, but you're offering it at a low cost, which is a huge benefit.
Yep, exactly, yeah. And that's available to anybody. There are some programs that are available to people who are on assistance, but our general low cost is available to anybody who wants to utilize our services.
And is that all the time, or are you doing it for this one?
All the time. Yep. So we offer low cost spay neuter to everybody. We have veterinarians doing surgery 5 days out of the week. Some of those days are for in-house animals, but most of those are available to the public. And we do cats, dogs, and rabbits. So it is very important. We see a lot of bunnies coming through the shelter.
Yeah.
There is really a huge overpopulation problem with rabbits in Massachusetts and Rhode Island, and so spay neuter with your rabbits is a really good idea, so that we don't end up with more and more baby bunnies.
Don't let the cat out, please. I'm like really worried about the cat's getting okay.
Mufasa said he's okay. He's okay.
We're good. I don't want Mufasa to like run out on the street here. Make sure. Well, and that's huge. So there's no pre-qualifiers or anything like that to get to. So and the one thing that we do have to think about is for people to be able to get to Parle for that low cost spay neuter. So that's the next hurdle that we all need to be thinking about. Yep. So if you can't get there, the next thing that we want to talk about, because we got to this spay neuter and the microchipping, is Parle has their big event coming up this weekend, which is super exciting, the rescue. So talk to me about the rescue.
Yeah, so, and you've been to the rescue. It is a really fun night out. Yeah. Really fun night out. And so again, this year it's at the Pawtucket Armory, and it's going to be from 6:30 to 10 o'clock on Saturday night, this Saturday the 22nd, so you can buy tickets now. You can get tickets through Eventbrite on our website at parl.org. You can get those tickets. And it's just a great food tasting event. So we have tons of different restaurants that are going to be coming and giving us all sorts of samples to try. And then anybody who gets to attend gets to vote on which one is their favorite, which is so much fun. And then they get prizes at the end. But we also have celebrity judges who are going to judge the food, and we have a VIP section in the beginning, which the Matunuck Oyster Bar is hosting, and we also have Revival Brewery with a craft brew tasting during the VIP, and we're also having a bourbon tasting event as part of that. So
oh my gosh,
lots of things going on. Silent auction, but really kind of the heart of it all is a celebration with our donors and our community that we are all here to help the animals and have a good time while we are doing it, enjoy some great food, and hang out together and support all of our wonderful programs. We do so much for the community with our food pantry, with our low-cost spay-neuter, our low-cost vaccinations. We're taking in stray cats and animals from homes that can't take care of them anymore. And most of our animals come in with lots of medical needs. A lot.
Yes. Lots.
And so we see that more and more, that they're needing dentals, that they have skin infections, ear infections. We have actually several kittens right now who need their eyes removed because they came in with severe eye injuries. And so these are things that we're seeing every single day, every single week. And all of these donations coming in support that care of those animals. So your money directly goes back into helping this really important cause in our community.
So if people are interested, if they can't make it to the event, which I highly suggest you go to, it's so much fun. It's always a great time. There's so much good food, and people are always fantastic. Is the best way to donate to Parl? What are some good items that you guys always need, or is money the best way to donate, or what's a good way to be able to help out Parl?
Yeah, definitely a little bit of both, I would say. So we have our Amazon wish list, which is our most up-to-date list of our needs. And so our coordinators, actually, who oversee our cats and dogs and medical program, they directly add items onto there that they know we need to take care of the animals. And so that's a great way to immediately help our animals, but also to help our staff, because they love it. They get so excited when Amazon deliveries come in, and they get to see the things that they put out there and that people really care about what we need to make the animals' lives better in our care. So that's a really awesome way to give back and to do direct, gifts to the animals. But money, of course, is always appreciated.
Then you can spend it on what you need immediately.
Exactly. And with that coming into, you might be able to give $10, which is hugely helpful, and somebody else might be able to give $20, and now that money together, we can, provide vaccinations for an animal. So whenever those things come in, they again go right into the animal care. We also have Betsy's Fund, which is our direct fund for medical cases. So those dentals that we talked about and skin diseases, Betsy's Fund all supports that. And that's a very expensive monthly bill for us, thousands of dollars to provide this medical care. So whenever people give to Betsy's Fund, that supports those cases directly. And that's a really big need of ours. We're actually just about to launch an appeal for a dog named Tito, who is a little fluffy Chihuahua mix. And he is ancient and beautiful and just a wonderful, we call him our little burrito because we wrap him up and he loves to be held. But he came in with a mass on his mouth that our veterinarian removed. And underneath it all, though, he has severe dental that he's going to need x-rays and multiple extractions and some serious surgery. So he is going to become a very expensive, wonderful little burrito. And so we will be actually launching an appeal very soon for him.
Good, and then we'll get him all fixed and taken care of, and then he'll be up for adoption soon.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
As you move forward into spring, it tends to be kitty season.
Yes.
What can we look forward to, and what message would you like to give to people as we move forward through kitty season?
Yeah. So we are already seeing lots of kittens coming in. For those of you not in the know, so springtime is our magical season of babies and kittens and baby bunnies and sometimes puppies, because all of the animals have been working on making them recently, and now that it's warm, they are being born. And so with this time of season, we have lots of great adopters who are coming in, and the kittens are going quickly, but it's still a lot. Yeah. We have a lot coming through. So there's sort of multiple needs here. The first, right now, our immediate need is actually foster care and helping provide care for these beautiful baby kittens who need bottle feeding and things like that because they're too young to be in the shelter and be adopted. So that's sort of our immediate need, but we also need people to adopt, which is the fun part of it all. And also making sure that we are also doing spay and neuter so that we don't continue to have all of these litters. Most of ours are coming in from the stray cats. And so these are community cats that are living out and about that people have been feeding but not spaying and neutering. And now they're having beautiful little babies that are coming into our shelter. And that's great. We're able to find them homes, but it would be great if people would spay and neuter in addition.
And with that low-cost spay-neuter, that's fantastic. What is the cost for that?
Yeah, so it depends on size and species, but if they call in, then our staff can go over it.
Yeah.
But it's a great price.
It's a great price. And what's the cost for microchipping?
Yeah,
for
so
you guys?
it actually gets discounted if you come in through Spay Neuter, and so it's only $20 when you come in through our other programs. But it's $40 if you come in for a regular appointment because it takes some more of our staff time for those appointments.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, yep.
That's fantastic. And so much less, because you think when you're getting microchip, you think that could be a big price if you're going to a vet, but if
Right.
you do it through you, it's so much less.
Yep, exactly. Especially if you kind of package deal it with the other things like Spay Neuter.
Great. Amy, thank you so much for coming in with Providence Animal Rescue League. Mufasa's around somewhere. We hope he's still in the back. We're going to get a picture of him and put him up on Facebook. You can find Providence Animal Rescue League at corner of Elbow Street, 9 Elbow Street, right?
34.
34 Elbow
Yes.
Street, sorry. 34 Elbow Street. I give directions from Providence Animal Control all the time. You think I would know
It's fine.
the address?
It's by the Children's Museum.
All the time. I'm so glad to have you here. We put pictures of animals from Parl up on Go Local Prov all the time, so you can check out their animals there. And you can catch the rescue this weekend, so if you want any more information, you can check out their